Welcome to the 301 Colored Commentators, a monthly podcast series where two black men from the state of Maryland debate and give their hot takes on movies, professional wrestling, and TV shows. So have a listen, have a look-see, but nonetheless, enjoy.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, people?
How y'all doing?
Hope y'all great.
I hope y'all miss us. We're back. Episode number 5.
Yes, sir.
301 Colored Commentators. Cy?
Anthony.
Yes, today we got something special for you guys. Of course, let me just introduce ourselves again as the 301 Colored Commentators. It's a podcast series where we, two black men in the state of Maryland, give our hot takes on pro wrestling, music, movies, television series, general pop culture entertainment.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to talk about 3 topics. The 2015 sleeper hit movie Sicario, the widespread controversial issue of CTE, headshots in pro wrestling, and lastly, the FX series Snowfall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before we jump into that, let's talk about certain current issues that we're dealing with, like, music. What are you currently listening to, sir?
I was recently in Vegas and rocking to that. I was at a Cunnilingus concert, a Southern underground rap group, and they had Seattle rapper Sadistic with them. And the producer for Cunnilingus, him and Sadistic recently put out an LP called "Bring Me Back When the World Is Cured."
Okay.
I really like that record. Okay. It's in one of my top 3 this year, along with the recently released "It's Almost Dry" by Pusha T.
I mess with that. I've been listening to that too, man.
That's a good one.
Can't go wrong with Re-Up Gang Push, man. The album's pretty damn good. I like it.
Yeah.
Bars for days. But back to what you were saying. I saw some footage from in social media and stuff of your trip. You looked like you had a time at a concert.
I had a fun time, man.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you did. You need to enjoy the fruits of your labor sometimes. So
yeah, most definitely,
good
bro.
that you got out there and enjoyed it a little bit. But yeah, I'm listening to the same thing. Outside of the usual Afrobeats is always in rotation, but I'm listening to the new Pusher. I'm also listening to Sir's Chasing Summer. Funny enough, during the lockdown, that was probably my most listened to album back in 2020. It came out in 2019, but I just revisited it lately, and it's still fire. He's on TDE.
Yeah.
He's like an R&B kind of artist.
Speaking of TDE, Kendrick Lamar, he's going to drop an album in May.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. It should be fire.
Should be.
So yeah, that's basically that. So Pusher, Afro Beats, Chasing Summer by Sir, and then I'm trying to think what else. That's about it. That's coming to mind. Anything else currently in your rotation?
No, nothing else currently. Beyond some older stuff that I listen to.
Yeah.
It's in my car right now. But other than that, there's newer stuff.
The ones
I just mentioned.
I think even speaking of which, since we've had our last episode, a couple of interesting things have happened in showbiz.
Yeah, the infamous Will Smith, Chris Rock slap. Tired of that.
Hey, Doug. So what are your thoughts?
My thing is this. Comedians are just doing their jobs, and that was not something that was worth slapping a comedian over.
Yeah.
And plus, Will Smith is a cuckold. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. He only slapped him because his wife eye rolled, and then he felt like he had to go do something, especially to preserve his image after he was on camera crying because of his wife's entanglements.
Yeah, man. There's a lot to unpack from that event, man. I personally, I am pretty disappointed at Will Smith's actions. Some people believe he did the right thing by protecting his woman, protecting black women and stuff. I understand, but there are better ways to handle that, because that was assault.
Yeah, pretty much. He's lucky Chris Rock didn't press no charges.
He could have gone to jail that night. So I personally would have hollered at him or gone to confront him backstage and be like, yo, that wasn't cool. An apology is due. But and ironically, the fact that people have said like, yo, he's protecting his woman, protecting black women. Jada then comes out and says, "I don't need protection." I'm like, "No, your husband just risked it all,
Yeah,
and you over here just brushing it aside.
Angry.
You should try to protect him."
We're trying to protect him, yeah, instead of talking about how you smashed some of your own son's friends, teenage friends on social media.
Just defend him at this point. Like the action was, you could have handled it better, but just defend him.
And if you don't be married no more, just get a divorce.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna go. That's none of my business. I don't even give a shit about this stuff. But at the same time, when you bring something to the limelight, to public, you should expect everything that goes, all the smoke that people's opinions and stuff. That's why you keep your stuff in house. Don't
broadcast it like that.
Don't air your laundry, especially your marriage and stuff. That stuff is supposed to be handled in the house, though.
Yeah, some celebrities are notoriously private, and for good reason.
Yeah, so it comes with the territory. You make it public. The public opinion will also be had.
Yeah, they're gonna find out. They're gonna be digging.
Like, I don't condone the ridiculing and all that has come from that.
It's warranted.
But at the same time, you asked for it by making it public. So it is what it is. I'm disappointed in Will, and it looks like his career is taking a toll.
It has.
Since lots of stuff being canceled.
That Netflix show that he was supposed to be part of.
Yeah. The Academy has
banned him for 10 years. He can't be at an Oscar ceremony even if he's nominated for something.
Right.
Or even if he wins.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a taint, and it's like, sadly for him, he had the most prestigious award a male could have that night, and it was ruined by that slap.
And I don't even remember who the other winners were that night neither.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, besides Questlove.
And unfortunately, that was the award. Yeah, first time in the award ceremony that it was actually produced and directed by colored people.
Yeah, first time. Yeah.
First time, and it's just for that to happen.
It just marred the event, marred the occasion.
Yeah. Granted, I don't really give a shit about what people think about us. Regardless, I still think he could have.
He could have handled that better.
Yeah,
I mean, he laughed at first, but then saw his wife. Well, I gotta do something.
Yeah, and I think Chris Rock handled it well.
Yeah.
It could have gotten ugly.
He was professional about it. Yeah,
it could have gotten real ugly. So kudos to him for how he handled it.
He's still not trying to address it yet in none of his stand-ups.
Right,
but he will eventually.
A lot of people are like, he knew he had alopecia. How do you know he knew?
I
don't know. It's public information. I didn't know about it.
I don't know if he knew. I mean, I know she put it out there on TikTok or whatever and just
put it out there publicly. I still didn't know. A lot of people still didn't know.
So she's like, I just gotta laugh about it.
Yeah. So,
but the G.I. Jane joke itself was not a dig at
it was even light. It was light. Yeah. I can get how you could be offended, but it wasn't like he was coming for you.
For the alopecia, you're making fun of that. Just as you look like Demi Moore in G.I. Jane, you shaved your head.
It was it was actually a very light joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that offensive. But I mean, I get how it's a touchy subject. It still didn't warrant a slap.
Yeah, if you went at her because it's alopecia or something like that, then maybe it might have warranted that, but no, it wasn't. That wasn't the case.
Right. So yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Let's talk about this. What are you getting to? Sicario.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sicario was released in 2015. It was written by Taylor Sheridan, directed by Denis Villeneuve, and it stars Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, Oscar winner, and Emily Blunt, also Oscar nominee, just like Josh Brolin. Yeah. This was a sleeper hit, actually. I didn't know nothing about it when I went to the theater with two of my other friends back in the fall of 2015. Yeah, it was, even with these big names attached to it, it's like it went under the radar.
It did.
Yeah, but it's an action drama that follows a principled FBI agent played by Emily Blunt, who gets enlisted by a government task force led by Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin to take down a Mexican cartel. But the lengths to which they go to and how deep they get is what really drives are really some of the driving factors and what pushes the film forward.
Yeah. And
some of the things that the film was also heavily praised for, besides the acting and the screenplay, was the cinematography.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fire.
Yeah, what's it called? Those aerial shots that they took of Juarez and Sonora, Cartel and whatnot.
Yeah,
those were beautiful.
Even when they're driving through Juarez, even like in the early.
Yeah, when they got the Mexican police escorting them.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
That was dope, yeah.
And then illustrating like how the cartel had pretty much sieged the town.
And they got the bodies hanging from the area.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And that was controversial because the mayor of Ciudad Juarez, he condemned it for their negative portrayal of Mexican cities. Like, that shit goes on there.
It happens. Yeah, I get where he's coming from though, but that's what happens in Juarez though.
Yeah.
It really does happen. It's like old school. It's like Medellin when Pablo was there, dog.
Pretty much, yeah. And they got plenty of Medellin
really
incorporated in the story, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the themes, it just goes very deep to show the kind of cunning lengths to which the American government will go to maintain a certain status quo. Like them using Del Toro's character is kind of, for me, that's kind of reminiscent of what they did in the 40s and 50s with Operation Paperclip.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much. And for those that don't know what Operation Paperclip is, it's basically after World War II, a lot of the Nazis that were, now unemployed because they had lost were, taken in by the U.S. government as agents or whatever you want to call it, or hired by the U.S. government to do their work. So,
and in return,
making friends with the enemy, in other words.
And in return, they got They got U.S. citizenship, names, cover identities, and got taught how to speak American English with accents.
Yeah. In other words, they weren't criminalized, even though they were criminals.
Yeah. Some of them are probably still around too.
Yeah.
Got families with grown children and grandchildren that don't even know about their Nazi past.
Yeah. Kind of goes to show you that.
So your friend David Smith, he could be Hans Brunheimer.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Nazi war criminal.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes to show you that there is, in reality, even though we market a whole ideology of morality in this country, or morality from the government, with the U.S., it's not real.
Yeah, we do things that the government tells us that only other countries do.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's all about interests.
Self-interest, money.
Yeah, money,
power.
That's it, power. And there's no morality in anything that we push, even though we market it that way.
Yeah, like with this film right here, the way they convey that theme is They're not trying to actually. They're not trying to overthrow any Mexican or South American drug cartels.
Right.
They're trying to just keep one cartel in charge of everything.
Consolidate this. Yeah.
Because it's more easily manageable for a government that way. Yeah.
When it's distributed, or should I say dispersed or broken up into different sectors, it's harder to track and harder to kind of control. So the whole goal, like you said, was to try and get just one.
Yeah, get it away from get it away from the Mexicans.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in this film, Del Toro's character is a Colombian. He's an ex-prosecuting attorney.
Yeah.
And his wife and daughter were killed by the Mexican cartel, so he becomes a hitman as a result.
Yeah.
Willing to work for anyone and anybody who'll turn him loose against the people that killed his family.
Yep.
Yes. So that's what it is. That's what it's about for him personally.
Yeah, exactly. Just revenge. He lost his whole family, so he decided to work with. So that's that's kind of like the parallel that Sai is trying to drive with the Operation Paperclip. He was once part of the Medellin cartel, which was the enemy in the 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, that the U.S. was trying to crack down on the war on drugs. They were the main enemy, and now that they have been dissolved and defeated, he is now hired by the U.S. government, similar to how Operation Paperclip hired old Nazis to work for the U.S. government. So. And
Josh Brolin's character, Matt Graver, he's just so flippant. It's like he's been at this for years. And it's like nothing to him.
He's a bait legend too. He was just using them as bait the whole time.
Pretty much, yeah. Blunt's character.
It was these.
Well, you guys are saying it back. Well, why are we going? Because the CIA can't operate in U.S. territory without a domestic agency attached. When the Kaluuya's character was mouthing the words,
right? Exactly. He knew.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kaluuya, man. He's Kenyan, British. Shout out to
him and Emily Blunt, both English actors in here.
Yep. Shout out to the continent. Kenyan first, then British, but you might know him from Get Out. But this is one of his earlier movies. Yeah. So. Yeah,
and what's it called? Plenty of scenes in the film that's like it's comparable to Narcos on the Netflix, or even the film Savages, which came out the same, 3 years prior to this. Yeah.
I think this is a little different in the sense that, like, in those kind of movies like Narcos, Savages, Blow, you get an angle from both perspectives. You get the U.S. side, like how the government is working. You also get an inside look from the villain, or like the actual cartel, how they work. In this one, it's mostly based on the U.S. side. Like you're seeing it through the lens of the government.
Yeah, specifically through Emily Blunt's character.
Yeah,
Kate Mason.
Exactly. Not so much. You don't really. They don't really give you an inside look on the
all different facets.
Yeah. It's mostly just based on like
the
feds, the DEA, and all
Yeah, the only film related to this that actually examined all facets of the drug trade from the perspectives of the cartel, law enforcement, the courts, and even the drug users themselves was another film that Benicio del Toro was in that he won the Oscar for, Traffic.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
Traffic was a good one. That was well put together.
Yeah, it was well put together. All different sides, all the different colors they used
to show
to
differentiate.
Which section we're looking at now.
Yeah, exactly. It was well put.
Yeah, and this film right here though, it's like. You just get captivated by some of the acting too, like even in the interrogation scenes, like that Del Toro and Brolin use, like when they use him on that one Mexican dude.
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah, Guillermo Diaz.
Yeah.
When Del Toro walks in the room, just gets in his face, crotch all up in his face.
Yep.
Tells him, "Ahorita vas a verlos conocer a Dios en tierra Yankee." Talking about you gonna learn all about hell in Yankee land, nigga. And another guy stepped back, turned the camera off. I'm gonna step back.
It's done with no emotion.
No emotion.
Like, this is procedure. This is how it's gonna get done.
Yeah, and he's crying like, "No, baby."
Yeah.
And Paul's like, "The fuck you keep looking at me for?"
Right. Exactly.
And they show the drain of the floor, and it's left up to the viewer's imagination what they're doing to this guy to get information out of him.
Right.
You hear him going, "Ooh."
Yeah, exactly.
Like the hell are they doing to him?
Yeah.
And what do you need that great big water thing for too that he came in the interrogation room with?
Right. At first I thought it was gonna do the
waterboard
joint.
Yeah.
But I don't
think they did that because we would have saw some water go down the drain.
Right. That was my first thing. First thing I thought of when I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, he's about to do the waterboard.
And another another shout out, John Bernthal. He's a DMV actor. He was in Sicario as well. He was the Phoenix cop. The one that Kate was about to get with till she realized
the one
he's on the payroll.
Yeah, he's on the payroll as well. He's about to smash.
Yeah, he was about to.
Yeah.
And Johnny Bernthal, shout out to him because he's got a starring role on a Baltimore show, a Baltimore miniseries on HBO called Rerun the City.
Oh, I've seen commercials for that. It's good?
Yeah, I saw the first episode aired last night. It was pretty good.
Oh, I need to check that out. This is just started here.
Almost a spiritual successor to The Wire. Almost. They got plenty of Wire actors on there.
Okay.
But yeah, so far it's straight.
Yeah. I'll definitely have to check that out.
What are some of your favorite scenes in this film?
Gotta be the last.
The dinner?
Leading to the dinner was gangster.
The tunnel.
When
they announced
when he gets out of the tunnel and then he gets that cop, the dirty cop.
Silvio,
Yeah. You even think he has a little bit of remorse for him. I think you're gonna spare him.
What you do now is for your family.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
you make a good police officer.
Yeah, it's just like.
No, fuck no, but you crooked, you're a mule. So
right.
You're fair game.
Poop, and then he goes into the other guy,
Manuel Diaz.
Manuel Diaz.
He shoots him. Tu sabes quién soy?
Right. That whole scene, even down to the cinematography, like the way it's just dark and they're driving.
Yeah.
All you see is car headlights. And you go into that large mansion. They're eating dip. Man, and he is an assassin.
Yeah.
Just
proficient.
Just kills the bodyguards with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves
the car just running like that. How did you get out of the car?
Oh, okay. Even the housemaid or whatever.
He spared the maid.
He goes and he sits. You think his beef is just with
the main guy?
He kills the whole family with like 2 seconds.
Like time to meet God.
What?
And when the audience,
he said time to meet the creator.
And it's like, and all I was like,
yeah.
And before that, he was like, not in front of my boys.
Right.
Don't worry, it wasn't in front of your boys.
Yeah, your boys went before you. They took the lead.
And the audience, when I saw it in the theater, we were like, did he really? Then we saw their bodies and we're like, holy shit.
Yeah, he did. That's definitely my favorite scene. I was just like, whoa. Cold-blooded, but well done. Like,
Yeah, the sequel was not directed by Denis Villeneuve, but the third one might be.
There's a third one coming up?
Yeah, the third one is. The third one is coming out.
Sequel was okay, not nearly as good as the first one.
I suspect the third one's gonna really be the one that's gonna like make up for the second one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was my favorite scene. I'm also thinking where else. Obviously, when they're going through Juarez with the
they're at the border. Yeah.
And like it looked very. I've been to Mexico a few times, so I was like, yeah, these look like the streets of Mexico, but this looks like the hood of Mexico. So it was pretty cool to just kind of see that.
And they also made a reference to how back in 1900, President Taft, when he went down to Mexico to talk with the Mexican president and brought 4,000 troops with him.
Yep.
Like it was that dangerous.
That dangerous, man. So, yeah, I mean. Scenes that come off the top of my head, those are the ones that I like most. What about you? And I'll maybe the end when he goes and confronts Emily
Blunt's character.
It's not really personal, dog.
It's how we do business.
It's just how we do business.
Okay, you would be committing suicide if you didn't sign this.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, what?
Basically, it's just that we did everything by the book.
Right.
And the thing is, it's like, no, you're not. But your bosses said, I don't even know everything that y'all do.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
And if she refused to sign, they would have buried her.
They would have, yeah.
They would have buried her, which is why he was saying it's suicide if you don't sign it.
Mm-hmm. And even Josh Brolin's character was telling her when he explained to her what the whole operation is about. Really,
yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna tell them everybody. I'm gonna blow up your whole operation. That would be a major mistake, Kate.
Yeah, there are places. There are certain.
The
most dangerous alphabet boys is the CIA, though. Them bams are crazy.
Yeah, they don't.
They are.
And the only reason they were, like we said earlier, the only reason they were able to do all this within U.S. territory is because they had an FBI agent as part of the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
a technical
requirement.
Yeah,
they technically can't operate in the U.S. without like a domestic
FBI, DEA, NIH, or somebody.
Domestic agent attached.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for me, they're the most dangerous.
They're capable of anything.
Intelligence agency in America.
The second film proved that.
Dangerous and ruthless. They're ruthless.
They got intel on everybody, even us probably.
Yeah, they're ruthless, man. I don't. That's a different. Before we get clipped, that's a different. I have my own opinion about the CIA, man, and what they've done in the continent of Africa. So that's different. But yeah, what are your favorite scenes?
My favorite scene, one of my favorite scenes is at the border when they're gonna extract Guillermo Diaz, right? When they're extracting him.
Oh yeah.
And what's it called? And they got the Mexican police right behind them, right? And then Del Toro's character is like, keep an eye on the Mexican police. They're not always a good guy.
Yeah. I forgot about that scene. And when they cross the border and they're like,
and then they leave them, and they're right at the border, and there's a traffic jam, and they're looking around, and they see anybody who looks suspicious. Yeah.
Yep.
Like a green Honda Civic or a red Toyota with a bunch of Mexicans tattooed on their heads. Like, just like R. Kelly at a Chuck E. Cheese's, you niggas are automatically already suspect.
Right. It's crazy. And that was like a rude awakening for Blunt's
character, because
she's like, what the fuck is going on?
And she had to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
When she gets back,
it was a crooked cop actually.
Yeah, it was a crooked cop.
Yeah,
it was a crooked cop. Like you told her, they're not always the good guys.
Exactly. He was about to shoot her.
Yeah, but she clipped him first.
Yeah.
But when she gets back to the base, she's like, "Fuck!" She's like, "You guys are spooks.
Yeah.
That's what you are." No, we're not. We're DOD advisors.
Yeah.
It's a vague term. DOD advisors.
Right.
CIA. Just say that.
Yeah.
If I was with them, I'd be like, you know what? I don't care as long as we're getting shit done.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, man. That
This is a real chance to get shit done. I mean, really, it's like sometimes you gotta color outside the lines.
Exactly. Nah, that's actually a really good scene. I forgot about that one.
And another one, what's it called? When we first see Josh Brolin, actually, the opening scene at that house in Chandler, Arizona, that suburban,
when they break in.
Yeah, they break in. Yeah,
the dead bodies.
The dead bodies buried in the walls.
That was cold.
And the booby trapped.
The bomb. Yeah. Yo, there's actually quite some interesting scenes in this movie. Like crazy, it's wild.
Crazy, wild scenes.
What the hell?
Like what kind of?
They just leave you like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened?
And Brolin's character, the way he was introduced, so flippant. It's like, he's not even dressed professionally. He has like a Hawaiian shirt on and some flip flops.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
We find out soon enough, like, okay, there's a reason he's like that. He's just so resigned that he's just.
Yeah.
His work is like breathing to him.
It's nothing new to him. It's all. It's just
interrogation, killing the enemy, just like that.
no emotion attached, so there's no need to like look the part. You don't give a shit.
Yeah, flippancy too. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
gonna be a good day.
Well said.
What are we gonna do? We are gonna fuck with Manuel Diaz's wallet.
Right.
And that scene in the bank scene was like,
Yeah.
you're showing me a new way to launder my money. Thank you.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And he used them as bait in that scene.
Pretty much, yeah, he did. And he told her not to go in the bank, but he was counting on her going.
He knew she was going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, like what's it called? And we figured they would follow you. And this is good.
Yeah,
good.
it's good. Yeah.
You've used me as bait. Why don't you write that in your report?
Right. Exactly.
And if you think about it from a meta perspective, when they interrogate the John Bernthal's character, Ted, the cop.
Yeah.
If you think about it from a meta sense, what's it called? You got Thanos, you got the Collector, and you got the Punisher in the same scene.
Right, all one scene.
Well, copy
for that,
too.
but yeah, you're right. That's actually a good comparison.
Yeah, I like the movie. Yeah, it's still a surprising.
People don't really talk about it much though. You're right. It's kind of swept under the rug, but it's actually a pretty solid.
And it's a
movie.
It is, and a revenge film too.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Yeah, they leave the mystery about what they're doing at the very end, and it's a shock.
Yeah, you're still trying to. That's the thing about this movie. You're still trying to piece it all together as you're going. Like, wait, so what the fuck is the purpose of this?
Right.
Half the time you're like, and then it just comes together at the end. You're like, oh. Yeah.
But it's one of the movies that leaves you thinking at the end and talking about it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Especially in relation to how our government really operates, because along with this and House of Cards, the first 2
I
seasons.
still haven't seen that, but I heard that's good.
Yeah, the first 2 or 3 seasons is all you need to see.
Okay.
Yeah, but what's it called? A friend of mine, a classmate of ours, in fact, he works for Congress and told me around the first season of House of Cards, that's exactly what those motherfuckers do to get shit done. They really do have flasks of whiskey in their desk and they snort coke when they think nobody's looking.
I believe it. Shit.
I believe
whatever happens in Wall Street happens in the
Congress, they're no different.
Congress, yeah.
Even lawmakers are allowed to be degenerates.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, but it's a great movie. Definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend.
Most def.
If you have seen it, in the comments, definitely chime in your favorite scenes,
what your thoughts,
the overall thoughts of the movie, and
we welcome that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man.
Okay, what shall we go to next? Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, aka CTE. CTE is a neurodegenerative disease that's linked to repeated head trauma, and the most documented cases have occurred in athletes involving striking-based combat sports like boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts, Muay Thai. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
Hence the original name, dementia pugilistica, which is Latin for a fist fighter's dementia.
Yeah, I've heard that term a lot.
Dog Latin. Yeah. And even American contact sports, football, Australian rules football, hockey, rugby, association football, soccer, and pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Pro wrestling is primarily what we're going to be focusing on, but also baseball, basketball, and what else? Military combat arms operations too. And other risk factors for CTE include being in the military, a prior domestic violence experience, and repeated banging of the head. Yeah, the exact amount of trauma that's required for the condition to occur is still unknown. And as of 2022, a definitive diagnosis can only occur at autopsy. Yeah, the NFL though, they were under fire for this for years. They didn't properly or sufficiently warn any of their players about the risks of CTE, which led to the 2011 NFL lockout. And the 2015 Will Smith again. Will Smith.
Tell the truth.
Concussion, where he played Bennett Omalu, who first identified CTE in football players, and fought against the NFL's suppression of CTE evidence in their players. Yeah, Vince McMahon, he tried a similar thing in pro wrestling. He tried to sweep CTE issues under the rug, but in July of 2016. 53 professional wrestlers, represented by lawyer Konstantin Kiros, they filed a lawsuit against the WWE looking to hold the organization accountable for, quote, long-term neurological injuries due to multiple concussions and CTE. Chris Benoit, he was one of the... What do you have to say?
I wanted to finish that, but I definitely have some stuff to talk about with Konstantin, or whatever his name is. Konstantin Kiros.
Yeah.
And like his journey, leading towards his back and forth charges or lawsuits against the WWE. But
yeah, Chris Benoit is the most famous known case for CTE right there. Back in 2007 when he murdered his wife and his son and then killed himself. And that still reverberates throughout the wrestling world. I mean, so much so that the WWE, they don't have any merchandise or any information about Chris Benoit on their
he's
website.
Basically erased from their memory.
Otherwise,
he'd be a Hall of Fame. He was that good of a wrestler. He was good, but it's unfortunate, man. But yeah, regarding Konstantin Kairos, he got involved with the WWE actually through Billy Jack Haynes. Yeah, he had issues, like he was having like side effects that kind of were drawing towards, possibly having like post-concussion symptoms that could suggest that he's suffering from CTE. And that's kind of what got him involved. The problem with wrestlers that is different from football is football, they still have insurance attached to their profession. So the WWE, the NFL has to cover to some extent treatment and things of that nature, which is why when they go into like these lawsuits and stuff, the NFL tends to settle a lot and
out of court.
Yeah, whereas the difference in wrestling is each wrestler is considered as an independent contractor.
Yeah.
So because they're independent contractors, the WWE or whatever organization is not responsible for like benefits and things of that nature, like you would in your usual job. Just like contractors do with the federal agency. The federal agency doesn't necessarily provide them with insurance.
No, the contractor does that, and even then only so much or so little in some cases.
Exactly. And since they're considered independent contractors, they're technically responsible for their own health insurance and things of that nature, which basically gives the WWE and all those wrestling organizations license to exploit them.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, and when they're not worth no more, they just kick them out the door.
Right.
It's similar to the record industry, the music industry. It's like as soon as your star power fades away, the labels, they drop you because you can't sell no more. They drop you.
Right. And to add on, Kairos actually confronted an organization called SLI, called the Sports Legacy Institute, which is basically an institute that works with athletes in contact sports regarding brain trauma or like head injuries and things of that nature. However, SLI is heavily funded by the WWE.
They work so they're in their pocket.
Yeah, they're in their pocket. So because of that, a lot of SLI just deals with football players. They stay away or try to stay away from wrestlers. And that's mainly because people like Triple H are on their board.
Yeah.
So he covers the WWE's ass.
That kind of reminds me of another thing too. Remember those beef videos that came out when we were in
college? The rap joints. Yeah.
For Beef 3 or 4, there was supposed to be a segment there about Benzino versus Eminem, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but what's it called? It never got put on there, but you can find it on YouTube. However, the reason it got taken out was because
he funded by Source or something.
Benzino had some business with the company that produced the beef. QD3, Quincy Jones, his son. He produced the beef videos, and Benzino either was on the board of that company or had some money invested in the company.
Saved his own ass.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing in this case.
Mm-hmm.
To continue what I was saying, SLI, because they're pretty much under the WWE's pocket or in their pocket, the WWE SLI has yet to touch or deal with any wrestler's brain since 2007. We're in 2022 now. They haven't touched another wrestler's brain since
2009. Actually, what's it called?
Oh, they did.
And the Dr. Omalu. Remember the wrestler Test?
Yeah, Test. Yeah.
What's it called? He died in 2000. Actually, he died before that, but it was only in 2009 when he did the autopsy. That was it called. He found CTE in his brain. But what actually killed him was an accidental drug overdose.
Okay, and that's funny enough. That's one of those reactions to a lot of CTE. So a lot of CTE people that suffer from CTE tend to either have like rage because of the pain that's going on in their head, or they rely on a lot of drugs to calm that pain. So a lot of times you find overdoses related to people that have CTE because they tend to sway towards drugs to kind of numb that pain a bit.
Yeah, a lot of them have.
Or suicide is another
Or
one.
suicide, yeah.
Suicide is another common. But this is very common now. Like a lot of these wrestlers, I went and dug in a little bit. Like a lot of these wrestlers have chimed in on CTE. Kevin Nash, for instance, he's touched on like he's had issues of memory loss, and he doesn't rule out the possibility that he might be suffering long term of CTE. Sean
Waltman,
yeah, he's another one. He's been heavy on that. Like he said, he was even unaware of concussions and what the symptoms were. So he wrestled and had concussions for years.
Dude, a match he had with Razor Ramon on Raw. That one match he had where he was on the top rope, like he slipped and hit his head like that.
Exactly.
But still continued the whole match.
Right.
So you could tell he was out of it.
Yeah, right. So like that goes to show you that the WWE did not really educate their athletes or wrestlers on the dangers or the possibilities of head trauma and stuff. But they were fully aware of CTE as early as 1995.
They knew it, didn't tell nobody.
Yeah, like funny enough, because they in the court case against Kairos, they've one of the arguments is they weren't aware of CTE or post-concussion syndrome, even as far as recent as 2011. However, in a 1995 Raw episode, they actually they actually talk about CTE. Well, not exactly. I don't think it was defined yet, but it was like post-concussion syndrome.
95, 6th or 7th grade for us.
Yeah. So like back then, they talked about how it's related to football, and Shawn Michaels was suffering from it in that current episode.
That's just wrong.
Right. So. That goes to show you that they were aware of, head trauma.
That's a mockery.
Right. And so, like, in court, they said that, we weren't aware of it until 2011 or after.
No, the court, that shows otherwise right there.
1995 shows, not to mention, Vince McMahon started the XFL in 2001, so he knew very well the dangers involved with head trauma related to football and how it relates to...
Did that go under again, the XFL?
It's run now. It's back.
I know it's back. Did it go under once more?
No, so it went under because of COVID, but now they're about to launch again with The Rock as the commissioner this year.
Oh,
the owner.
The owner,
yeah.
He hate me.
He hate me. I remember that 2001 when he hate me came back. But yeah, and there's another wrestler that currently is alive, but he believes he's suffering under CTE, Rob Van Dam, remember him?
RVD, yeah.
Yeah, he actually has a documentary called Headstrong that documents his journey through CTE. Even though he's alive, you can never really be fully diagnosed with CTE unless you're dead and examine your brain.
Exactly.
But he, with all his symptoms and everything that have been tested and stuff, everything points towards that. So he's a huge advocate of like eliminating like the hardcore elements of wrestling, like the steel chair.
They've gotten, for the most part, sorry to cut you off.
It's cool.
For the most part, the wrestling industry responded by like giving more awareness about concussions. Now they have American companies, American promotions, including the WWE. They ban of direct chair shots to the head, but you can still get hit with a chair.
It's funny because this is another point of evidence that shows that Vince was very much aware that things of that nature, like headshots to the chair and just headshots in general, could cause concussions or brain trauma or whatever. Rob Van Dam, when he came to the WWE originally, there was a match where he got hit. One of his first matches, he got hit by a steel chair. And when he went backstage after the match, Vince McMahon went and was like, "Yo, Rob, whenever you're taking a steel chair shot, you always put your hand up to."
He came from ECW.
Yeah, so he's like, "No, I don't need that." He was like, "Rob,
here you do.
Here, Rob, I'm like your father. You're like my son, and from now on," he literally told him that. So this was quote unquote from Rob himself. He's like, Vince was like, "No, going forward, you put your hand up to absorb the shock of the."
Because I don't want to get sued.
Right. He's like, yeah, for your own good. As a father to a son, you need to listen to me.
No, it's for my own good.
Exactly. These are all signs that Vince was fully aware.
He knew.
He knew everything.
Yeah, and they have like what's it called? All performers, they're required to go annual mandatory baseline retesting of brain function, including things like memory, processing speed, reaction time, and they got trainers who are there to implement measures to protect people against head trauma. But I think there's more that needs to be done. There needs to be more education, more research into this, diagnose people that are living with CTE currently.
And for a change, the U.S. government needs to make WWE as employers of their superstars to guarantee them health insurance, given like the risks that their bodies and whatnot have put throughout this profession, and stop this whole technicality of being an independent contractor. It's bullshit, man.
Yeah, and a growing number of athletes, not just pro wrestlers, who know they've taken headshots, who know that they have CTE symptoms throughout the years, they said we're going to donate our brains to science when we're dead.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Mick Foley, Mankind, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Jeff Hardy.
Right, Jeff Hardy.
Brandy Chastain, women's soccer player.
Yeah. Apparently Mabel was another one.
Mabel from
Mabel, China.
Mabel, the big guy.
Yeah, King
Viscera.
Mabel. Yeah. King
Okay.
Mabel, China. Eddie Guerrero was believed to suffer from CTE as well. One of the members of Well Done. Remember that?
Timothy Well and the other guy.
I forget which one. One of them suffered. Blackjack Mulligan is another one.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one he was represented. He was one of the superstars that was represented by Kairos.
Right.
He was another one.
Jimmy Snuka and Mr. Fuji.
Mr. Fuji's a big one too. Yeah.
Probably not to make fun of the guy, but that's probably why he can never say Yokozuna right.
Right.
Say it with an M. Bye, Yokozuna.
Yeah, bye, Yokozuna. But and Jim Ross, he now runs like a podcast. He's been very adamant about the existence of CTE in wrestling, and he's been pushing for them to eliminate like steel chair shots and a lot of like the head.
Those are too brutal. They do. I mean, I remember one back in '98 that The Rock landed on Ken Shamrock, and Shamrock like, "Come on, give it to me." He's on his knees.
Oh
Just,
yeah, dog.
It's like that shit looks so real.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock was on that MMA when it was like death. Now it's a little bit more controlled.
Yeah.
Back then, what he was doing was dangerous, like brutality. So, but yeah, it's an ongoing case with Kairos and the WWE. The Supreme Court and the federal government has tried to kind of keep a blind eye or like prolong it as long as possible.
As long as possible, yes.
Yeah. And SLI is pretty much a joke when it comes to wrestlers because they're in Vince's pocket. But they're very active when it comes to like other sports like football.
Yeah.
They tend
where the athletes actually are in a competitive arena.
Exactly.
Not scripted or performing.
Exactly. So in essence, in a nutshell, this is actually a humanitarian crisis.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually it's actually a humanitarian crisis, and the government needs to do right by these human beings that are being exploited and have no compensation whatsoever for their injuries and head traumas long term. Because these are all, at the end of the day, they're entertainers, but they're also family men.
They got lives.
Yeah.
But they put their bodies on the line every night out of the year.
Yep. And they have
telling a story,
They have like no health compensation, which is crazy to me.
It is crazy to me. The WWF, as rich as the company is, they can afford to take care of these employees. Easy.
It's like, this is an element of greed I just don't understand.
It's like, so they're looking for a way to cut costs.
Yeah, man.
Like, don't sell so much merchandise. Some of that merchandise you don't need.
Right. Like, seriously. It's unfortunate, man. Yeah, you want anything else you want to add? See if I have...
only that the one guy, he was on MTV's Tough Enough. Remember that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they have like WWF wrestlers
try out. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
One guy, he didn't make the cut. He was in the first season, but what's it called? The one where Maven and Nydia, where they won. He didn't make the cut, but he started an organization where he tries to get wrestlers and athletes educated more about CTE. I forget the guy's name. I didn't take it down. I didn't take it down here.
I see.
But yeah, he's definitely trying to make it so that people become more aware of CTE.
I see. Yeah, honestly, a lot of them are unaware. Maybe now more so because it's become more mainstream and people are talking about it more when it comes to contact sports. But in the era that we watched it, a lot of them were unaware.
Yeah.
Like when you listen to the interviews, they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Vince definitely knew though.
He knew he exploited them. Yes.
Yeah, he just exploited them as always. He always exploits them. So it's unfortunate, and he's gonna get what is due to him, man. I can't. Vince is he's a terrible human being. He had a great vision. Wrestling was definitely like one of our highlights in our childhood.
But knowing what we know as adults, it's easy for us to say that Vince McMahon, you're an asshole.
Yeah, he's a dick. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Moving on.
Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the FX series Snowfall. Yeah. It's created by the late writer-director John Singleton, R.I.P. Let me just say this about Singleton. I'm glad he was one of our directors that told the stories for Black America.
It's a legend, man.
Yeah, starting Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
And even here on Snowfall, it's like the first episode, he kind of lampshades himself with like the characters Franklin and Leon.
Yeah.
It's like, get the fuck out of here, little boy.
Yeah,
Ain't no niggas making no movies in the hood.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be Singleton.
I remember that.
Just like Singleton was kind of a stand, like the character for Trey was kind of a stand-in for Singleton because Trey was a comic book collector. You gotta catch it in the movie where he has a bunch of comics on his desk when he's a teen and when he was a boy. When Chris and Doughboy asked him, "You still collect comics? You got more comics than a motherfucker." John Singleton was a big comic collector too.
I see.
Yeah, Kevin Smith confirmed that.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Rest in peace, man. He's a legend.
Yeah. This Snowfall though. The story, it started in 2017, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the rise of cocaine and eventually crack cocaine in South Central Los Angeles in the mid-1980s. The main character is Franklin Saint, played by English actor Damson Idris.
Niger Boy first, then English. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it shows the shift in the drug game from different perspectives. From his perspective, like the black gangs, the Mexican cartels, the Jewish gangsters, the law enforcement officers, reporters, civilians, and finally the CIA.
Nigeriano de carry last. Holding it down for the continent. Nigeriano de carry last.
Damson Idris.
So I gotta shout him out for the continent.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Well, I should have known by his name. What's it called? That he was. Well, I knew by his name that he was African, but I didn't know that he was also English.
Yeah.
Because his accent, his West Coast accent, is just so good.
It's really
on
good.
point.
It's really good. Yeah.
And he said on either Jimmy Kimmel Live or Stephen Colbert how he learned because
Dub C was
actually his dialect coach.
Yeah, Dub C was his dialect coach. Yeah.
And he told me, mate, we gonna go downstairs, we go to Popeyes, put some honey on them with a G thing. Like, I didn't even know what Popeyes was.
Yeah, he sounds hilarious when you actually listen to him in his actual natural accent.
Yeah.
But he's actually very he's very Nigerian rooted as well, so he can actually speak in a Nigerian accent as well. Because you grow up in the culture, you know how it goes.
Like bring him around Godfrey and Rotimi. Put him around. Make him the third.
No, I've seen him around Burna Boy, the artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he goes like full Nigerian in that joint, man. Like proper. So kudos to him. He holds it down, man.
When brothers in this country, when they know they got Nigerian background, they immediately convert over and start talking to each other like that.
Yeah. It's a
cultural thing, yeah.
Culture, man. So for sure. He's a cool dude, man.
I'd like to meet him one day. Yeah. He's a hell of a good actor. He's a fun actor to watch. Like he's got that big style of acting, like that Royal Academy shit.
He's actually in England. He's from Peckham, which is like black. It's like when I was living there, it was hood.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is now, but back in the day, it was like hood. It was like a hood area with like heavily concentrated black people, like in the London area. But
it's a callback to Sicario, and him and Daniel Kaluuya, they're both pals.
Yeah, he's another one, from Kenya, of course.
Yeah.
Kenya boy. Yeah. So, but like, they go back. They actually go back before their careers blew up. They knew each other in the UK. So, yeah.
Also starring in a Snowfall, you got Carter Hudson, who plays Teddy McDonald / Reed Thompson, the CIA agent. Sergio Perez Mancheta, who plays Gustavo Zapata, also former pro wrestler turned.
That's my guy, dog.
Former pro wrestler turned a bodyguard.
Yeah, man.
Michael Hyatt, who plays Sissy Saint, Franklin's mother. Amin Joseph, Jerome Saint, Sissy's brother and Franklin's uncle, big man with a Jerry curl. Yeah. Donkey Kong with a Jerry curl.
Yeah, man. Y'all niggas been already learning how to squabble.
Angela Lewis plays his wife, Louie.
Great actress in this joint, man.
Isaiah John, he's good.
I like that dude too.
Leon, Franklin's best friend.
Yeah, he dope. His son looks just like him. He just had his son like a spitting image of him.
And last two but not least, Alon Moni Abatabal. He plays Avi Drexler, the Jewish mobster.
Yeah, funny guy.
And DeAndre Bonds, Scully.
That's my favorite character of the show, dog.
What can we say about Scully that hasn't already been the title of a Richard Pryor record?
Dog,
that nigga crazy.
Scully is a legend, dog.
He's a Christian. He's a devout Christian, but he's homicidal.
He be justifying all his homicides with some scripture, dog.
Yeah. And the funny thing is,
hey, that's my guy, yo.
And the funny thing is, it's like you're not wrong.
Man, Scully was crucifying people, dog.
And
oh my God.
And he drugged Jerome and Louie's wedding with LSD.
LSD, the whole joint, man.
Yo, on that one scene, did you see this? Did you catch this in that wedding scene when they're all stoned? When Jerome and Louie are walking, did you see two people fucking in the background?
No, I just said that.
Shit, it worked. You can find it on YouTube, dude.
Yeah, I gotta catch it. I gotta rewatch the episode. That episode caught me on the loop. I was like,
what is wrong with everybody?
It was a one-off of the show. It was just to provide some entertainment to the show.
And insight into Franklin's head,
exactly.
Yeah, because you're wondering what the hell's going on with everybody, and then you realize they are stoned. But
shout out to Scully, dog.
Scully. He told that girl to go.
Yeah. He put that strawberry in the chocolate, whatever that
LSD.
was.
The LSD.
Put it in the strawberries and chocolate.
Put everybody on acid at a wedding.
Hilarious.
That's the wrong. That's just wrong
That's
and rude.
Guy, dog. That's my guy.
You don't dose people at a wedding, not with acid.
Shout out to Scully, dog.
No comment. No more comment.
Scully's the man.
The series though, it follows Franklin Saint's rise in the drug trade from a doe-eyed college dropout who works part-time at like a convenience store to becoming a ruthless drug kingpin. In a sense, it's kind of like Breaking Bad, which was as the showrunner Vince Gilligan said, it's about turning Mr. Chips into Scarface.
Yeah. Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, but with this show, they want us to see all sides of the rise of crack cocaine in Los Angeles.
They do it well.
Yeah, they show like season 1. That's set during the rise of crack cocaine and the rise of cocaine and shortly after the crack epidemic in Los Angeles in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all these characters are on a collision course with each other. Franklin, he's just learning about cocaine, even though his uncle's a pot dealer.
Yeah.
What's it called? He wants to make real money when he runs across an Israeli coke dealer named Avi.
Yeah.
Right.
Random, but yeah.
And later, working for him, he finds a new way to bring cocaine, to bring cocaine to the forefront. Crack cocaine. Mm-hmm. A Mexican luchador named Gustavo. He's hired. By a Mexican heiress, a cartel heiress, Lucia Villanueva. I hope they bring her back.
Me too, though. I liked her. I was
Yeah.
like, when is she coming? I hope in the next season. I hope she comes back. She was a good part of the show.
Yeah, and Teddy was recruited he's a CIA agent. Reed Thompson, yeah. He's a sneaky motherfucker, he is.
the injection specialist, dog.
Mm-hmm.
That man loves him some needles.
Yeah, he does, man.
Funny guy, dog.
Yeah, he was recruited by a Nicaraguan national into smuggling cocaine in order to fund the secret war against the communists, but ends up getting involved with the Mexicans and Franklin, too.
Yep.
Yeah, each one of them are looking to get big in this drug business, but they all intersect in an explosive way.
Yeah. Bruh. That's a lot to unpack, dog.
It's a lot, yeah.
The crack epidemic is a lot to unpack. Like, once again, the hypocrisy behind the U.S. government, the way they victimized or criminalized a lot of the low-income black communities, where at the same time, how they criminalized a lot of the low-income black communities, but at the same time, they actually funded a lot of the crack epidemic, as far as smuggling in the cocaine to fund their own Cold War.
Yeah.
which is just.
It is hypocritical,
Oh my
yeah.
God,
Lots of brown and black folk got put in jail behind this crap.
And today we have our opioid epidemic, and people are having like facilities and hospitals to actually help them through. If you were to run that back to like the 80s, same situation, people were getting put in jail rather than being helped. Hypocrisy 101, right there in your face, man. But
right.
It's too emotional to talk too much about. I didn't get blown, and that's not about this segment. So, yeah.
Yeah, they got season 2. What's it called? Franklin's now running a smooth drug empire.
Yeah.
He introduced crack cocaine to the neighborhood. What's it called? Teddy's war on communism with the CIA. It's been denied, so he becomes an independent contractor.
Yeah.
Using his family. This guy Teddy, he just really doesn't give a damn. I mean, he's got a son. Doesn't really give a damn about him.
Fucked up.
His brother. Oh my God.
Oh
his brother.
yeah, I forgot about him.
That made me so mad.
He's a junkie.
He became one because what's it called?
Yeah.
He didn't even become a junkie. It's just that what's it called? He was forced to snort all that coke by the
Oh yeah. So that kind of got him hooked.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Not even hooked. It's like he had cardiac arrhythmia and eventually died of a heart attack because
they forced him to.
They forced him to snort all that coke and it was still in his system days later. Yeah, and
I
Teddy's.
forgot about that scene actually.
And the funny thing is, their father was played by John Deal, who played a Larry Zito on another cop drug drama, Miami Vice.
Oh, 80s. From the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that show. Good show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's another show based on the drug cocaine smuggling in through Florida.
Through Florida,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and in the season 2, Gustavo also, he's a major partner with the Villanueva cartel now.
Mm-hmm.
And Franklin's forced to make difficult choices, like killing some of his own people in order to maintain his deals.
Yeah.
And like becoming more. And later seasons, what he does when he starts actually buying properties in order to launder his money, like destroying black families, putting black businesses out of commission.
Yeah.
It's like, are you serious?
Becomes part of the system, dog.
It becomes like the library, that bookstore that was black owned.
Yeah.
That made me angry.
Yeah, that was messed up, man.
Yeah.
He became a product of the system.
Pretty much.
Just like cutthroat, just greed, and like not caring about what you're doing to your surroundings, as long as you're good.
Mm-hmm. But the way Franklin's got to discipline his people at times, it's like with
Funny
Leon.
In the car?
Yeah, Leon. What's it called? After Leon, what did he do? When he shot up Scully, he tried to shoot up Scully and ended up killing the daughter.
The daughter in the car, yeah.
Yeah, or he had beef, or somebody he had beef with, and Franklin's like, I built this shit, me, brick by brick, and I'll be damned if I let you tear it down, all because you don't like how a nigga talk.
Yeah, dog. That was one of the greatest scenes of the show.
Yeah, when Franklin has to curse somebody out or yell, I gotta take care of every motherfucker.
Yeah. Like the way when he cooks out is funny as hell.
It is. And this season, the season just passed, season 5, the season finale, the way he was kirking out there.
Yeah.
It was warranted though. It was warranted. If somebody took all my money, I'd be mad too.
They did him dirty, man.
Yeah, Reed did him dirty, man. Not only did he agree to a partnership with Louis and Jerome, but also took photos of Franklin's financials so he could take all of his money, and not give it back.
Yep.
Like, you can't. Franklin has no legal claim on that money, but it's But the thing is, if Reed could take it that easily, that proves one thing: that money wasn't laundered.
It was, yeah.
It wasn't clean.
It wasn't clean, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't clean, yeah.
But Franklin did. But Franklin got back. He didn't get back at Reed, but he did some moves.
He's a smart kid, so he's always thinking.
He thinks ahead. Yes.
Next move, he's always thinking about the next move.
He thinks ahead, uses whoever, and oh my goodness. Even though, and shout out to John Singleton. He may be dead now, but what's it called? His presence, his input on this show lives on. He must have wrote ideas at least for seasons 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see. I honestly, this season was a little slow for me, the latest one, and like especially after the LSD episode, I'm like, where are they taking this? But then the finale was like, wow, okay, this is about to get. Because I was like, how the hell are they gonna have a whole other? The way this season is going, I don't.
The beginning, it's like they talk about Len Bias, right?
Yeah. Shout out to UMD.
Yeah, and he was about to go to the Celtics too.
Yeah, he was about to. He got drafted. Yeah.
Got drafted in 2 days. And they actually dramatized his death in the show, right?
South Commons campus. You know what that is? My Terps know what that is.
It's about the rise. This season's been like about the rise and fall of stars. If you think about it, Glenn Bias, he was a rising star, and what happens? Shot down.
Yeah, man.
And Franklin's boy in that same episode, Rob, the white boy that he was forced to kill, he just died looking at what? Halley's Comet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the whole astronomy
Yeah,
aspect of it in the first
Shot him in the
episode.
back of the head?
Yeah, that whole is like, okay, whoever wrote this episode must be an astronomer.
Yeah, exactly.
And the show though, this season though, like they got the LA gangs, the Crash Unit.
Yeah,
the Crash Unit. They finally bring that in, and that was heavily used in the film Colors from '88.
I actually haven't seen that.
Really?
I haven't. I heard it's good though.
Sean Penn, Robert Duvall. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I just haven't seen it.
What's it called? Franklin and the thing is, the way that the season starts off with, it's a year after season 4. So Franklin, after Franklin pulled that Kaiser Soze move at the end of season 4 with Melody, when he thinks he's gonna kill her, he limps away, then tosses the cane away, starts walking straight like Kaiser Soze and the Usual Suspects. Yeah. And that's another thing too. Melody, the actor that plays Melody, she's from Maryland actually.
Oh really?
The actress, yeah.
Okay.
And the scene where she gets hooked on crack cocaine and we see her spiraling downward with the song Everything's Alright in the Sunshine.
Yeah.
The Roy Ayers song, yeah. When we see her downward spiral, selling everything out of her room just to get another hit.
Yeah, it was ugly.
It was ugly.
Ugly situation.
And the way they use that positive, uplifting song, feel good song in the background as like a very ironic juxtaposition.
Paradox almost.
Paradox and juxtaposition. Yeah, that was dope.
It was.
But the show, I like how it really is. There's no anachronisms in there. It's pure 80s.
Yeah.
The clothes,
down to the outfits,
movies, cars.
I love the way he dresses in that show. By the way, very good style. GQ. It reminds me of Michael Jordan. Can't dress for shit, but in the '80s, when he was coming out of North Carolina, going into the league, he was dressing well back then. His style back then is very similar to Franklin's in the show.
Yeah.
But then fast forward to when he became a pro, he became a straight Bama. He's still today he can't dress.
Even he's still wearing baggy stuff.
Yeah, he can't dress for shit.
I remember when he was coaching the Wizards, he was coming out wearing some baggy, like Jinko jeans, damn.
Yeah, he still wears that shit, man. But in the '80s, when he was young and he had a little bit of hair, even his style was very nice, very similar to how Franklin dresses in the show.
Yeah, Franklin dresses nice. So
real clean, nice.
So does Idris. He must have Damson must have some input on like Franklin's fashion.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The only other show that I can think of that actually follows like that is in the '80s and follows like a bunch of '80s. Like I remember that is '80s. Stranger Things.
Yeah, matter of fact,
season 4.
Stranger Things. One of the reasons why I fell in love with that show when it first came out, I got on it before it became popular, and it was the nostalgia effect it gave me. Even from season 1.
Season 1, yeah.
It reminded me of like my childhood, growing up with my sisters in Ghana and in the UK. A lot of the stuff that was incorporated in that show like reminded me of the stuff that they were into and the stuff that I enjoyed a lot as a child. So yeah, shout out to that. Even Power Raising Canaan.
That's 90s, yeah.
It was 90s, huh?
That was 90s.
I thought it was late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, that was the 90s. It's got to be mid 90s.
Raising Canaan? Oh, really?
That's early. Actually, you know what? 93, 94, because you hear Who Got the Props Up in there by Black Moon.
Okay. Because even the fashion sense back then is, you can tell it's very retro. But yeah. Any things you particularly liked about the show or the season, this past season that just passed?
The past season, one of the things I liked was the season finale for season 5, which was that, like Anthony said, it started off slow at first because you don't know where the hell they're taking this, but as it goes on,
the finale was great.
The finale, everything came to a head, and the one scene I love in there was when Franklin takes what technically really isn't his, but does it anyway.
Yeah.
And they got the Phil Collins in the Air Tonight playing in the background.
Perfect music for that.
And that's a shout out, and that's another like callback to Miami Vice as well. The pilot episode of Miami Vice where they use that song And that's deemed as one of the best scenes ever in TV history.
For Miami Vice?
Yeah, when Crockett and they're driving and Phil and the songs went in the background. How much time we got?
Yeah,
I gotta make it stop.
I definitely know that scene you're talking about.
Yeah, the way they use it in Snowfall though, when he's walking towards Kane's hospital room. Here we go. I can feel it. Like, yo, this is gonna be iconic.
Yeah.
This is gonna be as iconic as Tommy in Power Book 2 coming out the Made Men on that brownstone.
Yeah.
Many Men.
Yeah. You're right, actually. It's funny because, like you were saying, like the show, I was like, there's no way, like based on how slow it was progressing, I'm like, there's no way they can make another season out of this and actually be good. Because based on how slow this season is, the next season cannot possibly be good. But the way it ended, next season is about to be some heat.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
It's about to be some heat.
Jerome and Louie versus Franklin.
Yeah.
And Kane versus Jerome and Louie.
And what's to become of Teddy, aka
Teddy? Yeah. He basically he got Franklin's money, so he's gonna use it to buy his way back into the CIA as an agent.
Right. And now we have.
But his girl got kidnapped.
Yeah, that, and then now there's like a corporation of the KGB because of what's his face's moms. I don't know how that's gonna.
Yeah, because she made friends in Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba. There's a lot of interesting stuff they can expound on.
We still don't know what happened to Alton. Most likely he's dead.
Right. Exactly. That too.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
But we'll see next season when that happens. Next year probably, or possibly this September.
Who knows? Yeah.
Speaking of returns, this Friday, Ozark. Second half of the final season.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Should be hot.
Me too.
Probably go through that thing in like 2 days.
I'm gonna devote the whole day to that thing. I want to see everything that goes on.
Such a good show.
Yeah, it's addictive. And like Ozark, Snowfall, they do like a different thing with the logo every season.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Yeah, at one point it was a city on fire.
Yeah.
Then it was the suburbs of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a lot of
creative art with the lettering.
And originally in the first season it was like a crack sprinkle.
Yeah, sprinkle. Yeah. Exactly.
But it's a good show. Snowfall, even without John Singleton's influence, it still is a good depiction of crack cocaine's rise in the 80s and seen through the different lenses.
From all directions, all lenses, like you said. If you haven't watched, definitely recommend. And if you do watch and you're up to speed, definitely leave some comments about what you like about the show. What are your favorite characters? And if you're like into like the war on drugs and its history, like I am, you can chime in on what you think was accurate, what you think was fiction. Because apparently the show is actually loosely based on Freeway Ricky Ross. I don't know how true that is.
And a lot of what Singleton saw in the 80s growing up. He grew up in that environment.
Yeah, so, just let us know what you think about the show and about the episode as well, what we discussed.
Right.
Your feedback is always welcome, good or bad. We love it all. We're here for the smoke.
All of it.
Yeah, man. So, yeah. Anything else you want to...
I got nothing else on here at all. Nah, Snowfall or Sicario or CTE. I got nothing. Okay. I guess it just about wraps it up for folks.
Yeah. We will come back to you soon about what we're going to do for our next episode.
For episode 6, yeah, we're gonna have a commercial for that. Yeah. But we nonetheless request that you stay tuned in. Keep watching. We thank you for our subscribers and our viewers. And then you spread the word, pass it on to others. Yeah. Also, in another one of our projects, the VFL Victory Formation Lounge podcast. Yeah. We're going to touch on the draft that is this week. So expect an episode next week. We will be throwing that at you as well. But we welcome all the feedback. We are grateful for your following and your listening and staying with us this long. We really appreciate it. We can't stress that enough. Love for the love, always. And we'll see you next episode. Next episode it is. Peace.